In English, as you know, there is indefinite article, which is a or an. In Arabic, there is no indefinite article corresponding to these two. So therefore, nouns, not a proper noun, is regarded or is automatically indefinite in Arabic unless it's defined. And how you define a noun? By attaching definite article or by attributing a noun to another noun. Today is talking about the definite article. And the definite article in Arabic is al. Is al, which is alif and lam. Al means the, and it joins onto the word it defines, e.g. the book, and then we say al-kitab. If you want to define a noun in Arabic, you write al and then you join it to that particular noun. In this case, let's say kitabun. You write al, becomes al-kitabu. Let's see how it works. So we're going to write a noun first, which is indefinite, kitabun. Now, if you want to say the book, you have to write al first. So we have this fatha and sukun. Now, the sound on this alif is called hamzatul wasl. Hamzatul wasl. That's me joining hamza basically. You can just regard it as a weak alif, which can be suppressed sometime. Now, al-kitabu, and quite often you don't see this fatha on it, but it's a sound. That sound is always there, but they may not put fatha on it. So al-kitabu. Now, once you make a noun defined or definite, you are not any longer allowed to have this double sukun, double dhamma. So it becomes al-kitabu, because you cannot have a and the at the same time. So the book. The alif of al is a silent letter, which means you hear that sound of a only if it is at the beginning. If you have any letter before it or word before it, that sound will be suppressed. For instance, if I have let's say al, let's use which one did I use here? Let's say, for instance, we use al-kitab again. Al-kitabu. So you have al-kitabu. Now kitab, that's your sukun and that's your fatha. If I have a letter here like wa, for instance, let's put it in the black. If I have wa, because this weak alif is not any longer at the beginning, the sound on it will be removed and suppressed. So we remove that. So you just say wal kitab, as if that alif is not there, but it's there. Wal kitabu. That's what I mean by the alif of al is silent, is a silent letter. It is only pronounced when it occurs at the beginning of a sentence, such as the house is large. Baytun is a house. If you have the definite article, you say al-baytu. Let's write al-baytu. So we have al-baytu, al-baytu kabirun. Al-baytu kabirun. The house is large. So you can clearly hear that al-baytu kabirun, because there's nothing there before that alif. Okay? When alif is followed by a word beginning with a mun letter. Now, this al, if the noun after it starts with a mun letter, meaning one of these 14 letters. This is a group of letters. Arabic alphabet is actually divided into two equal groups. One is called the moon letters, and they are this one: alif, ba, jim, ha, kha, ain, ghain, fa, and qaf, and kaf, mim, ha, waw, and ya. And the other half, 14 letters, this one is called sun letters. So ta, tha, da, the, ra, za, sin, shin, sod, dod, to, zo, lam, and nun. When you have a moon letter after L, any of these after L, you will clearly hear the sound of this sukun. You hear that sukun clearly, like al-kitabu, al-baytu, because ba, it is a moon letter, and kaf is a moon letter. Therefore, you hear that sukun on the lam of the al-kitabu, al-baytu. If the letter comes after L is one of these sun letters, you will not hear the sound of or the sukun on the lam. That will be suppressed. Such as if I choose any of these, for instance, let's give an example. For instance, if you say sun letter, give me the example. Bed, serirun. Serirun, so serirun. Serirun, that means a bed. If I want to say as-seriru, I mean the bed, I will put al there. Right. Now, anytime you put any of these letters after the L, they automatically will be carrying shadda. And shadda means there is embedded sukun within the letter itself, because that's now double letters. Therefore, we are going to lose this sukun. Becomes as. So you just say as. As-sariru. You will not hear this sukun. So as-sariru. That is the rules, and we're going to have various examples to illustrate that. So here we have al-baytu, al-kitabu. You can hear the lam with sukun, but here we have as-sariru. Obviously, you need only one dhamma, as-sariru, because it is been defined. So when L is followed by a word beginning with a sun letter, which means one of these letters, the lam is written without a sukun. Sukun will be removed, so you just remove the sukun from on top of that lam. So you have as-sariru. The lam is written without a sukun and it becomes silent. The sun letter after L takes a shadda. Any of these letters, when they come after L, meaning the, they automatically carry shadda. Such as, and that meaning the letter itself is now been doubled. The first of which is carrying sukun. That's why we are suppressing the sukun on this lam. Please remember that the word defined by L loses its tanween. You cannot combine L with un or in or an. Instead, the last letter of the word takes a single fatha, dhamma, or kesra, as might be appropriate. For instance, you cannot say al-baytun. No, you have to say al-baytu, a single vowel. Second note, sometimes the verb to be must be added when translating a sentence from Arabic into English. Let me give you an example. Now, a house in Arabic simply say baytun. A house, we say baytun. Baytun, as mean a house. If you want to say a small house, you just add adjective. Baytun صغير. Baytun صغير. صغير. That means a small house. A small house. Baytun صغير. The small house, if you want to say the small house, you will say البيت. البيت. That's meaning the house. Then you have to define your adjectives as well. You say البيت and then الصغير. Let's write that. الصغير. صغير. البيت الصغير. Here, if you notice this ba, you may remember that is one of the moon letter. That's why we have sukun retained on the lam. L, because the alif at the beginning, although if I didn't put there, you pronounce that sound. You say L, that means the. And the bayt. The bayt now you will see that we reduce the tanween into a single vowel. Here, sod is a sun letter. That's why he's carrying obligatory shadda, which means this is now been doubled, which means there is an embedded sukun. Hence, you will not hear this lam. You say as al-baytus saghir. Al-baytu. Now we suppress this alif now because it's not any longer at the beginning. Here you hear it, al-baytu. But here when you're reading across, you suppress the alif because it's not at the beginning. You will also suppress the lam in this case because of existence of this sod, which is a sun letter. That's why it's carrying shadda. So the proper reading will be al-baytus saghiru. Al-baytus saghiru, the small house. Literally meaning the house, the small. But in Arabic, in English, we say the small house. Now, the house is small. We want to say the house is small. There's a verb to be there, which is, which is not available in Arabic, but you need to insert that when you're translating. So the house is small. In Arabic will be the house. That's me. Al-baytu. Al-baytu. Al-baytu saghirun. 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 Literally mean the house is small. That's how it sounds. Literally, the house is small. But in English, you will say the house is small. So to achieve that in Arabic, when you have something which has been defined, and then something looks like an adjective to you, which is a predicate, subject and predicate, you drop the L, and automatically that will produce embedded verb to be. So, al-baytu saghirun. The house is small. Let's analyze the following sentences to reinforce our understanding. Here we have the small house is new. The small house is new. You say al-baytus saghiru. Al-baytu. Al-baytu. Al-baytus saghiru. البيت الصغير جديد. البيت الصغير جديد. جديد. The small house is new. Here you hear the sound of a because it's at the beginning. And we hear the sukun of lam because the letter after it is a ba, which is the moon letter. And we reduce the baytun into baytu, al-baytu. Now here, alif is not at the beginning like this one. It's been suppressed. And the lam also is suppressed. We remove the sukun on it because the sod is a sun letter, and that's why it's carrying the obligatory shadda. And shadda means there are two of those letters and there's embedded sukun. So you will say al-baytus saghiru. and then jadid. The house, the small house is new. Next one. The next one is, this house is small. هذا البيت صغير. هذا, because bait is masculine. So we say هذا. Let's write هذا. هذا البيت. هذا البيت. هذا البيت صغير. صغير. This house is small. Again, the alif has been suppressed because it's not at the beginning like this one. Sukun retains on the lam because ba is a moon letter. صغير is, which is verb to be, is been put in there in English, but it doesn't exist in Arabic. Literally, you are saying this house is small. But in English, you don't say this house is small. You say this house is. You need verb to be. Is small. Next one. This small house is new. This small house. So you say هذا البيت الصغير. Now you're going to define this. So we say هذا البيت الصغير. هذا البيت الصغير جديد. This small house is new. So now what you have now is this house, the new, the small, a new. In English, you say this house. This, you start with the verb, with the adjective. This small house is, that's a verb to be. So it is embedded here in Arabic. هذا البيت الصغير جديد. Okay. Now let's test you. Say, how would you say a short pen? Try that for me. If you just remove this and think about that for me. A small pen. Pen is قلم in Arabic. How do you say a small pen? Come on. Help me out here. A small pen. How do we say a small pen? Pen is قلم. So you say قلم صغير. Okay. قلم. So قلم. قلم. And then صغير. صغير. A small pen. What about the short pen? That's not. Okay, قلم صغير, that's a small pen. Let's say a short pen. You say قلم. Instead of صغير, you just say قلم. A short, that's قصير. قصير. Here we are. If you say قلم صغير, that means a small pen. If you say قلم قصير, a short pen. How do we say then the short pen? Just attach L. You say القلم. 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 القلم القصير. قصير. القلم القصير. The short pen. It sounds like the pen, the short pen. القلم القصير. Again, you see alif has been suppressed because it's not at the beginning. When it's at the beginning, you hear it. You say القلم. If it's not, I didn't write it, but you say it. القلم. القلم. القلم القصير. Because qaf is one of the moon letters. Therefore, we retain the sukun on the lam. Next one, number 3. The pen is short. You say al-qalamu and then qasirun. sounds like the pen is short. So القلم القلم قصير قصير. The pen is, that's verb to be, is inserted there. القلم قصير. Number 4. The short pen is new. You say القلم القصير جديد. القلم القلم the short pen القلم القصير قصير جديد جديد. القلم القصير جديد. Number 5. This pen is short. You say هذا القلم قصير. هذا القلم this pen is short. هذا القلم قصير. قصير. هذا القلم قصير. Let's put sukun on the lam here. هذا القلم قصير. Okay. هذا القلم قصير. Then the last one. This short pen is new. So here you say القلم القصير, the short pen is new. If you want to say this, you just add here هذا القلم القصير جديد. هذا القلم القصير جديد. هذا القلم القصير جديد. More examples now. Now, feminine examples, the one we've done previously is masculine. Now, feminine. A long worm, I mean dudatun. A long worm is dudatun tawilatun. Dudatun tawilatun. The long worm. Ad-dudatu tawilatu. Again, you are suppressing the lam because we have one of the sun letter after the article the. Ad-dudatu tawilatu. The long worm. Next one. The worm is long. Ad-dudatu, the worm, tawilatun, is long. Is embedded here, verb to be. Next one. The long worm is thin. The long worm is thin. Ad-dudatu tawilatu, you are reading across. Ad-dudatu tawilatu nahifatun. The long worm is nahifatun, is thin. Next one. This long worm is thin. We are putting هذه because it's مؤنث. هذه الدودة طويلة. هذه الدودة طويلة. Last one. This long worm is thin. هذه الدودة الطويلة نحيفة. This long worm is thin. Hopefully we have established a good understanding of how the definite article works in Arabic. Well done. Keep it up and do your homework for me. You are doing well. And I believe you are well on your way to understand Arabic grammar. Long way to go yet, but we are making progress.